All right.
All right. How's it going, Eric?
It's going great.
Thanks for coming this morning.
You're welcome.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of All the Rumors Are True with my very good friend, Eric Jensen, but he's also my neighbor. And that's how we met, because we were at the local watering hole.
That's right.
And I actually got to know you through there, but then you were like, you should come over to like a party at our house. And I met your wife, and now we're besties.
It's interesting how things play out.
Right?
Yeah.
I never would have known in a million years. And you live 2 streets down, right?
Yeah.
So, because most of the time you don't know your neighbors. Not you. You're so friendly and you talk to everybody, but
I'm a little bit, I'm slightly out there.
But I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that you know more of my neighbors than I do. Every time.
I was blessed with the gift of gab,
Yes.
they say.
Yeah.
You know?
I kind of was too, hence why I started a pod. Mm-hmm. God gave you a mouth. You might as well use it and not shut up, right?
That's right. Yeah, let's exercise that thing.
Yes. Okay, well, I wanted to talk to you today just about first how it all kind of got started was I've had, tons of health issues since I got COVID, and I've now had COVID, I think 5 times. And I am not vaccinated. I do want to add that in there. Not that it's anybody's business, but just because of my health issues not being vaccinated were so worrisome that I was scared if I did get vaccinated, my issues would get worse, right?
So what's worse, right? Do I get vaccinated to avoid a particular type of sickness, or, and try to save myself that way? Or if I get vaccinated with all my other health-related issues,
Right.
Is there any fallout for the potential vaccine, and which is worse, right?
Right. So that's kind of where I was. And to give a little backstory, I was in a really bad car accident. It's been 12 years now, but I've had multiple surgeries from it. But losing my spleen in that accident was truthfully when kind of my life turned around. I had never been sick in my life, ever. Like, never saw a doctor, never had health, never had a broken bone. And then all of that happened in one wreck. And
Wow.
she was texting and driving and ran a stop sign. And, I ended up in a tree. She walked away, and I still suffer from it 12 years later.
She blew through the stop sign
Yep. Texting just blew through the stop sign. She was coming at me head on, but I swerved to miss because I was always taught, don't hit the deer head on, don't hit the tree head on,
Right.
but don't overcorrect.
Right.
Well, in the moment, hell, you lose all sense and sensibility. You're just like, shit, there's a car.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I have had tons of trouble since losing the spleen. The spleen fights infections, right? Mm-hmm. But then once I got COVID, it was worse. Like, my health has just been like this. I lost a lot of my hair. There was about a year there that I just couldn't get out of bed. I had no energy, canceled work trips all the time. And this is, I guess, my segue into you. You work in nutrition. You have forever. I mean,
Not anymore officially, but yes. I'd say probably 30 years collectively.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're very fit. Your wife is very fit. Your son's y'all are all very healthy. Mm-hmm. And I've since fired said doctor, but I went in to see him, and he did labs and put me on any medicine you can even name, statins, beta blockers, just anything you can name, he just threw at me.
Yep.
And my weight's been a big issue since COVID too. I cannot lose weight, and tried to put me on thyroid meds. And I came to your house one day.
Was that an issue before the spleen?
No, never. Everything really got exponentially worse once I got COVID the first time.
Okay.
And I came to you, and I was just like, I'm at a dead wall. I can't lose weight. I don't want to do the whole Manjaro thing. People are just killing themselves to look skinny.
Right.
No, I'd rather just stay fat and figure it out the right way. Yeah. And I came to you, and you said, I want to see your blood work. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. What got you into your passion with nutrition and kind of shying away from big pharma, figuring out things to take that actually help you without a prescription?
Well, I don't think that I made a conscious decision to get into that for any one reason. I mean, I started working in the health and wellness industry when I was 18. So I just got a job,
Right.
I moved here from Massachusetts. My mom worked at Sun Harvest Farms, which is a natural foods grocery store. And I was like, yeah, get a job here bagging,
Oh, okay.
And then when I was working there, I found out that they had this supplement department, which I'd heard about through my mom as well. And it was fascinating to me because there was just bottles of nutrients, herbs, all these things. And I was fascinated. I wanted to know about them. And so I basically worked my way into that department in the store in short order. And, you start learning, and it just becomes interesting to be able to feel like you have, more autonomy over what's happening in your body than what we realize.
Right.
It's, you don't feel well, go to the doctor. But,
right.
I was very interested in understanding that we had a lot of ability to fix things on our own. So yeah, that's about it. And I just, as you start to actually figure out things and watch them work in front of you, and you're like, okay, this is cool. This is a neat thing that we can do here.
Yeah.
Take charge of our own healing.
And you don't take antibiotics when you get sick?
No.
Right?
I don't. Right. Yeah.
And same way with your wife and your son?
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much, we steer clear of those types of things. I mean, personally, my opinion is antibiotics are used all over the place for everything, right? We feel sick in some way, and our default is antibiotics. Your doctor will tell you to take them, and I just feel like they have the potential to cause more harm than actually help. It's hampering your immune system, so we stay away from it. Our bodies get sick, and they are designed to be able to heal themselves on their own.
Well, I remember it was recently, and I had a UTI, and you were like, no, take this. I called
What did I tell you to take?
I don't remember. You sent me pictures, and you're like, take this. Well, I didn't listen because I have a concierge doctor, so I can just text him, and then it's at the pharmacy in 10 minutes. And I was like, I don't have time to go to the store to get these things that Eric said, da-da-da-da. Well, then that turned into a yeast infection, which then I had to take another antibiotic to get rid of.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Yeah. It's a slippery slope because, you get a urinary tract infection. Your entire body, we are filled with microorganisms. Those microorganisms generally live in harmony with our body, right? So all of these microbes, these microbacteria, they maintain stasis in those parts of your body, right? They keep a balance of good bacteria. They're also there as, to initially fight invaders. So when we take an antibiotic, we're essentially hampering those efforts by killing all of the good bacteria along with the bad. So then the slippery slope is sort of that now, after we've eradicated that bad bacteria and the good, now our door is sort of wide open for the next bad guy that comes in, because there's nobody good there, no more defenses.
Right.
And that's, sort of the cadence that tends to happen as you get another infection shortly after.
Right. So after that happened, I got another UTI. I'm very prone. I always have been. Mm-hmm. I have PCOS. I've always had a lot of issues just with my lady parts. Like it's just, my grandmother died at... No fun. My grandmother died at 31 of ovarian cancer. And so I've always been just on the hyper defense of, and I'm the only child, right? The only grandchild from, female. And so I've just always leaned on my doctors and all these UTIs and all this. Well, whatever you told me to buy the next time I got one, because I'm like, I'm done with this cycle of like 7-8 UTIs a year, and then it turns into a yeast infection. So then it's like, then I'm on antibiotics for it's 10 days plus 7, it's 17 to 24 days, something outrageous. And, a lot of them make me throw up. They make me nauseous. And whatever it was you told
You're
me to
like, why
buy.
is this good?
Yeah,
why am I
like,
taking
yes,
this?
like,
yeah.
this
It
is
feels like
actually-
it's making my life worse.
Yeah, you can't go in the sun. You can't, don't drink alcohol. You throw up your toenails. Like, it, you know, it's all these rules.
Makes you sensitive to light. And that,
Yeah.
you know, that's the other part of that too is, you know, the fallout. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I do feel like there is a place for all of these things, but I feel like we overuse them in a proactive sense almost.
Well, there are certain things. So like losing my spleen, for instance, if you got strep throat, you could do whatever and fight it off. Well, the spleen is one of the things that strep fights, right?
Yeah.
So if I get strep throat, like I get immediately put in the hospital. Like it's there.
Yeah.
It's not even, oh, we're calling you in meds. It's like, you need to go now.
Yeah. And I mean, so you're dealing with something that's, you know, slightly different from the average person, right? So you have to make just adjustments in your life because of the fact that you don't have a spleen.
Yes.
So your immunity is hampered, and I get that. So
I have to be careful.
we do have to take that into consideration if you're, you know, considering getting an antibiotic. You know, you also don't want to get yourself much more sick than you already are.
Right.
Open to infections much easier without a spleen, right?
Right.
So I would say, like, you know, that does make your situation a little bit more difficult to deal with because you're sort of missing that standard body part.
Well, and when I came to you, the last doctor before last that I have since fired, I brought you my blood work, and he wanted to put me on a beta blocker, a statin. It was like 6 medicines. He wanted to put, and I came to you, and you go, no. I want to see your blood work. Mm-hmm. And I essentially, he did a culture. I had a UTI, shocker, right? Nothing new there. And
Comes with the package.
It's just me, right? Like
it's Tuesday. I've got a UTI.
Yeah. Like, oh, here comes Millicent. She definitely needs cranberry juice.
Yep. That's right.
She looks like she needs some.
Yeah.
But I fired him shortly after because they did a culture, and his nurse or MA, whichever it was, didn't call me and notify me. And I was at dinner with the head buyer of beer for HEB.
Nice.
And
important
very
function.
very important dinner. And you know, he just looks at me and he's like, "Hey, like, are you okay?" And I'm like, I was in the ER 30 minutes later, and when the ER doc came in, he was like, "How long have you had this UTI?" That's why the doctor got fired. They didn't call me and let me know I had it. And it just kept going and going. And I had like 104 fever. I mean, it was like the craziest. So
you went in based on symptoms, and then they found out you had a UTI, but didn't let you know that you had a UTI?
Correct. I had gone in a month prior to see this doctor, and they did a culture. A culture takes, 48, 72 hours to get back?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's 72 hours.
They can do them pretty quick, you know.
Well, they didn't. His nurse never called me and told me I had one. And I'm fainting at a dinner, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to the emergency room, which, you know, I should have gone and given that doctor that bill because fuck him. I can't even believe you could let your staff be that
lapse in, you know, protocol and responsibility, right?
Imagine if it just kept going.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been good for me. Somebody who can't fight infections well.
Right.
So I fired him and I hired the new doc. And I go get blood and I bring it back to you. And you look at all of it and you're like, okay, not much has changed. And he goes, and you said, what did he tell you to do? And I said, vitamin D. He wanted this like organic B12 something. Everything he put me on, nothing was prescription.
Okay.
And you go, that's a good fucking doctor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, the whole Hippocratic oath, right? It's, you know, first do no harm. So
right.
It's like we start suggesting things like, oh, you got a UTI. Oh, and by the way, your cholesterol is high. And all of these various different pharmaceuticals, which are designed to, for the most part, eliminate symptoms of sickness, right? Not treat root causes. Why am I going to take something for one thing that potentially causes 18 other problems?
Well, so then when I hired this new doc, he's wonderful. Dr. Isayev, I'll say his name. He's here in San Antonio, and love him. Yeah. Love his wife.
That's how you're supposed to feel.
I love him.
You're supposed to feel like this person is a confidant and cares about you.
Cares about my health, and he does. And I can tell you, I take vitamin D, I take B12, zinc, Like he just has me on things like that. And you know what? I usually am sick once a month easily.
Yeah.
And I've
trimmed it down a little bit.
I haven't. Yeah. It's trimmed it down a lot. And the last UTI I got, I went and got the supplements you told me to get. And I didn't end up taking the antibiotics, the amoxiclav or whatever it is. I didn't end up taking it. And guess what? No yeast infection in the UTI went away.
So you noticed actually a positive change by skipping that.
Yes. Yeah. And somebody that deals with chronic, but everything you told me to get was like, I got it at a supplement place.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think like, again, many of these things can be solved. Typical issues that we have, immunity related, many of these things can be solved by, simple changes with things that are, sort of biologically friendly to your body instead of getting into things that, again, cause harm and, create new issues that you don't need.
Well, it was just very small things and you have told me this for years, and I go to your house often, right?
Yeah.
Hang out. And
we love it.
I do too. And I always see, you and your wife, you're always taking things, and I'm always intrigued. I'm like, okay, well, what is this? Tell me what this does.
Like a pill popper, right?
Yeah.
What are you guys swallowing now?
Well, didn't you just take 10 of those? And it's all fish oil or whatever.
Most of the things that you see me taking are countermeasures for my toxic lifestyle with, whatever.
Hey, well,
let's have another drink. All right, let's take care of the liver along the way. Stay hydrated. Grab some electrolytes.
No, that is one of the funniest things, though, is you ran Cost Plus for years, and you still have these Cost Plus shakers.
Yeah.
And I think it is the funniest thing. You'll do one shot of vodka, you'll take a packet of electrolytes and then water and shake it. And it's more water than it is liquor, but it's so funny to me because you're like, nope, got to take care of all of it at one time.
Well, it's like, because you're seeing me and I'm putting something that we know is not good for you into a cup, right? Yeah. Then I'm trying to put some other stuff in there to help offset the negatives that is bringing to the table. That's how I rationalize it. I'm boozing, yes, but I'm drinking with electrolytes.
But, we all have to figure out how to rationalize why we eat McDonald's.
Sure.
And why we drink booze and why we smoke cigarettes and why we take pills. Like we rationalize it in our mind, because at the end of the day, we're going to do what we want to do as a person, as a human.
That's right.
So it's like, but honestly, I feel way better when I drink a vodka water with lemon or lime or orange, some sort of fruit, than I would,
mix it with a Coke.
Well, I don't drink soda, but
okay, good.
But yeah. Or like the people, to me, the one that I can't rationalize is Red Bull and vodka. I'm like, one is a straight up and one is a straight down. And you can't rationalize
uppers and
that.
downers.
Yes.
Zippity doos and zippity don'ts.
You can't rationalize that in your head, though. It's like, wait, what? Like, do you want to be on the ground or do you want to be jumping off the roof?
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, it's like, a lot of people drink booze and I think they feel like they get tired sometimes, so it's like, well, my body is already tired. So I probably shouldn't be drinking, but I'm tired, so I want to drink.
I've been tired since first grade. Yeah. So don't, but I don't drink caffeine.
At all?
Nope. I quit caffeine. September will be 6 years. And I'm going to tell you, talking about supplements and pharmaceuticals and all that, the hardest thing in my life that I quit was caffeine.
Wow.
I could talk.
Were you drinking it all day long?
No, but I would drink a cup of coffee in the morning and I'd have a Coke or a Dr. Pepper in the afternoon. So no, I know people that drink coffee 24/7, sodas all day long. When I quit, I felt the first about 72 hours. I've never done drugs, but I would assume this is what it was like. I was sweating through sheets, through the bed for when I first quit sodas.
Okay. Well, why did you quit? Why did you quit the caffeine? Were you having a bad reaction? Because it doesn't sound to me like you were consuming, inordinate amounts.
I was not. My birth mother at the time was diagnosed with breast cancer, and her oncologist said, you need to chill on the caffeine while we're doing treatment.
Okay.
You need to just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I did it in solidarity with her.
Oh, okay.
And so then when she finished treatment, she went directly back. And my whole point, my whole thing at that point, it was like, it had already been months. And I'm like, I have a raging headache all day, every day. And I know if I go and I grab a Coke and I drink not even 4 sips, I know that headache's going to be gone. But I'm very hard-headed. If you didn't know.
You wanted to stick to what you were doing.
Yes.
No, I get that about you.
And I was just like,
I appreciate
I was
that.
like, I've gone this far. Like, why turn back now? And I'm gonna tell you what, I don't crave it. I don't miss it, because once you find, the first 6 months are the hardest. If you're an avid caffeine drinker, the first 6 months are the hardest. Your wife and I have talked about this. She's like,
I mean, I would think, the first 6 days were harder, but
well, it was all hard.
Yeah, it's all hard.
It's all hard. But once you get after a few months, then the headache goes away and the tiredness goes away, and then you just kind of get used to your new norm. But your wife and I have talked a lot about this, because she's like,
she loves her coffee.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, try it. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, not no, but fuck no. She's like, I'm not trying that.
If we were to like plan a vacation and we found out last minute that there was no coffee available in the place we were going,
she'd cancel.
The trip would get canceled. Yeah.
I mean,
it's not happening.
I mean, that's, I
no
like
coffee, no Laura.
but I love that about her.
Yeah.
But I just, it's something I got away from. But again, I know it's not medicine, or, we're talking about antibiotics and things like that, but caffeine really, like, I don't think we realize what it does to our bodies. Like, once I got off of it, it was wild.
Yeah.
It's a wild ride.
And, this is another, conversation in terms of how we live today, right? Everything that we do seemingly in society, we overdo, right? It's all or
Is
there
nothing.
anything bad about your body having caffeine? No. Right? But if you're feeding yourself 1,500 milligrams of caffeine a day and you're drinking 18 cups of coffee, you're going to create an issue.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we make mistakes. It's like we dive into things and we just do it.
Go hard or go home.
Yeah. To a point of saturation,
I love that.
Right?
I mean, I do love that mentality, though.
Yeah. Well, I agree. Yeah, I kind of live that way,
You
too.
and I kind of live that way. We kind of like, hey, we're here.
Yep.
The road doesn't turn around. There's no U-turn. Let's keep going.
Yeah. How high is that cliff over there? Yeah, that guy jumped off it. Is there something higher that I can jump off of?
Yeah. What can I go over there and find?
Yeah.
My spidey senses are telling me there's more.
Yeah.
And we don't want to have FOMO.
More is always better, right?
Right? It's better. Well, my auntie, my best friend ever, her entire life.
Is that your older auntie?
Yes, my great auntie. But
How old is she?
She will be 88 in August.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
she's incredible,
and a huge amount of energy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, talk about somebody that drinks 18 fucking cups of coffee a day. That's why she's jumping through her ass.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we've got a case study on drinking lots of coffee and caffeine, and she's 88 and she's moving the way she is. Maybe it's not that bad.
It's not, and she's stroked out, and look at her go.
Yeah. I think I need to look at the other things she's doing.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what, she takes no pills. Whenever I took her, well, the ambulance took her to the hospital when I found her when she had the stroke, and the ER doc comes in, what meds is she on? I'm like, none. He's like, she's 86. And I'm like, you heard me, boy. She's not on anything. He's like, she doesn't take cholesterol. She doesn't. And I go, I don't know. I go, she drinks red wine every night, and she drinks coffee all day.
Right.
And she sleeps 3.5 hours a night.
She's not on any pharmaceuticals.
No.
Right.
Oh, and she threw up.
And we've been conditioned, like, I just want to say this because I have experienced this before, but we were conditioned to believe that we should be on some sort of pharmaceutical. Like if you're like 45, 50 years old and you just finally get a primary care physician, you go in there and you're not on any pharmaceuticals. The guy's going to he's going to jump back in his seat and be like, why not?
You need to be on this and this.
I need to look
at
your blood work again.
Well, that's how it was.
We've got to get you on something.
That's how it was with her in the hospital. It was very shocking because even though it was just the ER doc, even when we got to the floor after ICU and all that, even that doc was like, she's really not, and she was nonverbal at the time. And I'm like, I don't know how many times I need to tell every human at this hospital, she takes no medicine. She's 86.
Right.
She's never had a health issue.
She feels fine.
She drinks red wine at 4 o'clock every afternoon.
Yep.
She goes dancing for 3 hours every Sunday.
Wow.
And she drinks coffee from sun up to sundown, black, no cream, no sugar.
What kind of dancing does she do?
Country dancing. They go country dancing every Sunday from 3 to 6.
Awesome.
That,
I just had an experience with that, so you know.
I know y'all went line dancing last night.
Yeah.
And
Well, I was supposed to go line dancing. I didn't end up dancing.
you just watched.
It was very confusing to me.
Well, no, because it's not, like I said, it's not logical. Like when you think logically and you hear a beat to a song, your body is trained to move in which way it wants to.
It does it automatically.
But when they're telling you kick, right, turn, step, upside down, flip it around, and you're like, what the fuck? My body doesn't want to do that. My body just wants to go.
Yeah. Well, it's like now I don't hear the song anymore, and I'm just like worried about all the steps that I need to make.
Yeah, and then you just stumble on yourself, and then you look like you're drunk, and then
Right.
people are like, "Oh my God, he's an alcoholic! Get him out of here!" Right? It turns into a whole thing, and you're like, "No, my wife and I just wanted to learn, but fuck this.
Yep.
I'm okay.
Oh yeah, I'm out.
I'll move how my body moves when that song comes on."
I told her I was like, "You can I'll go out there with you when you do it. I'm not going to be able to do what you're doing, but I'll have fun jumping around next to you."
Yeah, you're
as
like,
long as you're okay
I'll just
with
go
that."
side to side and do a flip twirl for you, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Eric, for coming on today.
Oh, you're welcome.
It was a great day in the
Yeah.
stew, and hope to have you back again soon.
Oh, I love it. This is fun. I mean, it's an interesting thing to take part in. I've never been under this kind of light before.
Yeah, lots of lights. There's lots. Yeah.
As long as my skin looks all right.
Oh, you look fabulous,
All
honey.
right, good.
Fabulous. All right. Cheers, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks. All right. It was a good one.
How did I do?
It was a good one. Yeah.